The average transmission repair in the United States costs between $1,800 and $3,400. That is the median, not worst case, not a luxury brand. The median repair cost on a standard Japanese sedan, confirmed by RepairPal across thousands of documented jobs. In Japan, that same car, same model, same mileage, keeps running. But here's the part that should make you stop. The difference has nothing to do with Japanese drivers getting a better version of the car. You and a Tokyo commuter own the exact same transmission, built in the same factory, shipped from the same port. The difference is 4 maintenance habits, specific enough that most American shops have never mentioned them to you, documented clearly enough that you can verify every single one of them before you close this video. By the end of this, you will know exactly what those habits are and exactly why the way transmission service gets sold in America keeps you from ever learning them on your own. Let's look at the scale of what's actually happening here. RepairPal confirms the automatic transmission rebuild range sits between roughly $1,500 and $3,000 for most mid-size Japanese sedans. Full replacement, not rebuild replacement, runs $1,800 to $3,400. For trucks and SUVs, expect $4,000 or more. For continuously variable transmissions, add another $500 to $1,500 on top of that. And failures are happening earlier than they should. Nissan's CVT became one of the most documented transmission failure cases in recent American automotive history. Between 2018 and 2021, owners of 2012 through 2018 Nissan Sentras, Altimas, Rogues, and Versys filed thousands of National Highway Traffic Safety Administration complaints documenting shuddering, jerking, sudden deceleration, and outright failure. Multiple class action lawsuits followed. Nissan, under pressure from litigation and documented complaints, extended CVT warranty coverage on certain affected models. That extension was quiet, but it was an acknowledgement. Toyota was not untouched. Owners of certain 2018 and 2019 Camry models equipped with the new 8-speed automatic reported a shudder at highway speeds. Toyota issued technical service bulletins, TSBs, which are the automotive industry's version of admitting something is wrong without calling it a recall. The fix identified in those TSBs was the correct fluid, specifically the correct fluid. We are coming back to that. The pattern across every one of these documented failures is identical. Wrong service interval, wrong fluid, wrong service method, or all three combined. These are not random failures, they are predictable outcomes. But this next part is what really changes everything. Most Toyota and Honda owners believe their transmission fluid needs changing every 100,000 miles, or never at all. That number came straight from the owner's manual, printed by the manufacturer, sold as standard. It is not the standard used in Japan. Here is what 100,000 miles actually means in context. Under ideal driving conditions, with consistent highway speeds, moderate temperatures, no towing, and no stop and go, 100,000 miles is the outer boundary, not the recommendation. The absolute outer limit for drivers operating under perfect laboratory-adjacent conditions. Almost no one in America drives that way. If you drive in Phoenix, Dallas, or Miami, your transmission fluid is operating at sustained temperatures that accelerate oxidation. If you do school runs, grocery trips, and commutes through traffic, every cold start followed by stop-and-go engagement qualifies as severe service under every major manufacturer's classification. Towing anything changes that calculation further. Under severe service conditions, Toyota's own maintenance documentation recommends changing automatic transmission fluid every 30,000 miles, not 100,000, 30,000. The cost of that fluid change? Between $80 and $250 at most shops, depending on your model and labor rates. RepairPal confirms this range for most Japanese sedans and crossovers. The cost of ignoring it? A transmission rebuild costs $1,500 to $3,000. A full replacement costs $1,800 to $3,400. That is, if the damage has not spread to the torque converter. If it has, you are adding more. Do the math just once. 5 fluid changes over 150,000 miles, at $200 each, equals $1,000 in maintenance. One transmission replacement on the same car costs $2,500 to $3,500 before tax, before rental, and before the week you spend without your vehicle. There is no scenario where skipping the service saved money. But most people who do change the fluid make a mistake just as costly, and it has nothing to do with how often they do it. Most drivers assume all automatic transmission fluid is roughly the same. Different branding, same basic product. This is one of the most expensive assumptions in car ownership. Toyota's modern automatic transmissions require Toyota A TFWS, world standard. It is a specific low-viscosity fluid with a friction modifier package engineered for Toyota valve body clearances and clutch pack materials. Honda's automatic and CVT transmissions require Honda A TFDW1, not a Honda-compatible generic, not Dexron 3, not the multi-vehicle ATF you can find at any auto parts store for $4 a quart. Nissan's CVT transmissions require NS2 or NS3 CVT fluid, depending on model year. Using the wrong fluid does not cause immediate failure. That is what makes it dangerous. The wrong fluid causes microscopic wear. Clutch packs slip slightly more than designed. The valve body modulates pressure at slightly wrong rates. You will not feel it on day one. You will feel it at 80,000 miles when the transmission begins to shudder or slip, and by that point, a mechanic will call it wear and quote you $2,800. It is not wear. It is the wrong fluid, repeated for years. Toyota addressed this directly in Technical Service Bulletin TSB 00094-16, issued to Toyota dealers. The bulletin identifies incorrect automatic transmission fluid as a contributing factor in transmission shudder complaints across multiple Toyota models. The bulletin's prescribed fix calls for Toyota Genuine Automatic Transmission Fluid WS, combined with a specific Toyota transmission conditioner. When dealers perform the service with the correct fluid, the shudder resolved in the documented cases. One bulletin confirms that fluid type determines the outcome. OEMATFWS runs roughly $8 to $12 per quart at a Toyota dealer. Generic multi-vehicle automatic transmission fluid runs $4 to $6 per quart. The cost difference per service visit for doing it correctly versus doing it wrong is approximately $20 to $40. $20, standing between you and a $3,000 repair. If this is helping, hit subscribe. I put out videos like this every week. Even owners who service their transmission on the right schedule with the right fluid often use the wrong method, and the wrong method can cause the very failure they were trying to prevent. Most American transmission services do one of two things. A pan drop removes roughly 30 to 40% of the old fluid. The rest stays inside the torque converter and the cooler lines. You have changed less than half the total fluid in the system. The machine flush takes the opposite approach. It removes nearly all the old fluid by pushing new fluid through the system under pressure. The problem is that on a high-mileage transmission that has never been properly serviced, a machine flush can dislodge accumulated sludge and push debris directly into solenoids and valve body passages. Technicians who specialize in high-mileage transmission work cite this as a documented reason some transmissions fail within weeks of a machine flush. Japanese shops and a growing number of independent transmission specialists in the USA use a third method. They perform multiple progressive drain and fills over a short period. Here is the process. Drain and refill the transmission with the correct original equipment manufacturer fluid. Drive 500 to 1,000 miles. Drain and refill again. Repeat a third time. After 3 drain and fill cycles, the dilution math puts you at approximately 70 to 85% fresh fluid throughout the system, achieved without pressurizing the system or dislodging anything. This method is not radical. It is how Toyota and Honda dealers are trained to handle fluid correction on high-mileage vehicles coming in for the first time after years of neglect. The logic is exactly what it sounds like. Dilute progressively. Let the system clean itself gradually. Do not shock it. 3 drain and fills on a Toyota Camry at $80 to $120 per visit. Total cost roughly $240 to $360. That service can allow a transmission to then run another 100,000 miles with proper intervals going forward. Compare that to one machine flush that triggers a $3,000 repair 6 weeks later. The method matters as much as the schedule. Now here's the category where the most expensive failures are happening right now, and where the gap between Japanese maintenance practices and American ones is widest. Continuously variable transmissions were marketed to American buyers as more fuel efficient and effectively maintenance-free. They are not maintenance-free, not even close. Nissan's CVT failures are the most extensively documented transmission case study in recent American automotive history. Owners of 2012 through 2018 Sentras, Altimas, Rogues, Versas, and Jukes filed thousands of NHTSA complaints documenting shuddering, jerking, sudden deceleration, and full transmission failure, in some cases at highway speeds. Multiple class action lawsuits were filed and settled. Nissan extended CVT warranty coverage on certain affected models under litigation pressure and acknowledgement that the failures were systematic rather than random. CVT replacement on a Nissan Altima or Sentra runs between $3,000 and $5,000, according to RepairPal and dealer-confirmed pricing. Some owners report higher quotes. Honda's CVT, used in the Civic, HR-V, and Fit, generated its own documented pattern of complaints, particularly hesitation and shudder in the 2014 through 2016 model year range. Honda extended warranty coverage on some of these complaints, which is again an acknowledgement. Here is the split between owners who pay that $3,000 to $5,000 and owners who do not. CVT fluid degrades significantly faster than conventional automatic transmission fluid. Honda recommends CVT fluid service every 25,000 to 30,000 miles under normal conditions. Nissan's own service recommendation for NS2 CVT fluid is similar. Most CVT owners following the sticker in their glove box that says "Inspect at 120,000 miles" have never changed theirs at all. The fluid does not announce when it is failing. The transmission does, and by that point, the damage is already done. If you own a CVT-equipped Japanese vehicle built between 2012 and 2020, pull your service records right now. If there is no CVT fluid change in those records, that service is overdue. A CVT fluid change costs roughly $150 to $350. Transmission replacement costs $3,000 to $5,000. The math does not require a calculator. Most transmission wear does not happen on the highway. It does not happen during hard acceleration or when towing. It happens in the first 2 minutes after a cold start. Here is the mechanism. Automatic transmission fluid is engineered to operate at a working temperature of roughly 175 to 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Below that range, the fluid is thicker than designed. It does not flow through valve body passages as efficiently as intended. Clutch engagement is coarser. The transmission is managing harder gear inputs with less effective lubrication. In Japan, the culture around vehicle maintenance is reinforced structurally. Japan requires mandatory vehicle inspections called shaken every 2 years for vehicles over 3 years old. These inspections are rigorous and relatively expensive, which creates a practical incentive to keep a vehicle in excellent condition between cycles. Incremental neglect surfaces at the next inspection with real financial consequences. That system produces a driving culture where gradual engagement after a cold start is the norm, not because drivers are especially disciplined, but because the cost of neglect becomes visible quickly. In the United States, that feedback loop does not exist. Cold start to full throttle in under 60 seconds is normal. Nobody thinks about it. The practice that transmission engineers and specialists consistently reinforce, and that aligns with how the vehicle's operating specifications are actually written, is straightforward. For the first 2 minutes after a cold start, keep acceleration light. Let the fluid circulate. Let operating temperature begin to rise before you ask the transmission to handle hard shifts, heavy loads, or aggressive engagement. This is not a theory. Transmission operating temperature is a documented engineering specification. Cold start full load operation is cited in multiple manufacturer service guidelines as a contributor to accelerated clutch pack wear. The entire cost of this habit is 2 minutes. Every morning, $0. Let's put all of this into real numbers one final time. Proper automatic transmission fluid service every 30,000 miles on a Toyota Camry using the correct AES fluid at a shop charging mid-range labor costs roughly $100 to $200 per visit. Over 150,000 miles, that equals 5 services. Total maintenance cost $500 to $1,000. One transmission rebuild on that same Camry, if you skip all of this, costs $2,500 to $3,500. Not counting diagnostics, not counting the rental car, not counting the week you lose. On a Nissan equipped with a continuously variable transmission, the numbers are even starker. $300 to $450 in continuously variable transmission fluid changes over 100,000 miles, or $3,000 to $5,000 in continuously variable transmission replacement. There is no version of that comparison where skipping the service was the smarter financial decision. Here is the truth about Japanese cars that most American owners never fully absorb. These vehicles were engineered to last long. The weak link was never the engineering. It was always the fluid schedule, and the fluid specification, and the method. Every major transmission failure pattern documented in the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration database, the Nissan continuously variable transmission cases, the Toyota shutter complaints, and the Honda hesitation reports happened to vehicles that could have been saved with a $150 service. That is not speculation. That is what the technical service bulletins, the settlement documents, and the repair records consistently show. The transmission was not the problem. The maintenance approach was. You now know what the majority of Toyota, Honda, and Nissan owners driving these cars today will never figure out until a mechanic hands them a $3,000 estimate and explains it as normal wear. It is not normal. It is preventable. And you just learned exactly how.